Good evening, everyone. He's Mark.
And he's Britain.
And we're back with another remote podcast. Mark this time is in New Zealand.
Beautiful New Zealand.
And, off on his way to his new gig in Antarctica.
So, I will just give everyone a heads up. I only have one more COVID test to pass, so knock on wood, I'll pass it. But I'm in a isolation right now, which is just kind of waiting here, ready to go. And if everything goes well, this might be like the last podcast you hear from me for a while.
Yeah, like
we have.
Go on.
I was like, we have a little something cooked up, while I'm gone, but this for now will probably be the last podcast I record for a good amount of time.
Yeah. And
I'm hoping.
Yeah, like knock on wood, everything goes through on your side, and you get to go on that nice, a nice below zero adventure.
Yes. But for now, we're going to be talking about a movie.
Oh, interesting movie.
Where our accents are better than the ones in the movie.
with certain of the actors. The movie in question is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
So, let's get started. I guess since we're swapping roles a little here, I will do give the brief recap of what happened in.
And I'll be the
movie.
talent.
Yes. So, the movie is about Robin Hood. That dashing figure from literature who robs from the rich and gives to the poor.
Yeah.
And in this one, he's played by Kevin Costner with a mullet. Now, take that however you want, but basically it plays very similar. Robert Hood.
Hello, I'm Robert Hood.
Bob Hood. Robin escaped. He's off to the Crusades. King Richard's off fighting, and everything like that. And Robin is, he escapes and like a dungeon with Morgan Freeman,
who is a Moor, I believe.
Yep. So basically, they are enemies, but in order to escape, they team up together, and they go back to jolly old England, where Robin has a nice castle and everything like that.
Or does he?
So yeah, the Sheriff of Nottingham, he wants to seize power while King Richard is gone, and there's a nice plot thread throughout where he's basically trying to do it, which culminates in the marriage of King Richard's cousin, which is Maid Marian. And that will actually give him the power he needs to basically
usurp the
take
king.
over the throne.
Yeah.
So he kills Robin's father. Robin Hood, he just goes off to live in the woods with the merry men, or wherever they're called.
Hey. Yeah.
And he meets Little John. He meets
what?
Will Scar. Yeah, not that Little John. He meets Will Scarlet. He meets Friar Tuck, and they basically do everything that the movies do, but it's just a little bit more 90s and fun.
I don't know if Robin Hood is the only be-mulleted person. I don't know. Does Alan Rickman have a mullet? Now that I think about it.
No, I think he just has long, wild, uncontrollable, untamable hair.
He's untamable raven locks.
I know Azim, Morgan Freeman character. Yeah. He doesn't have a mullet. He has the same hairstyle that Morgan Freeman has had forever, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like this might be the earliest movie I've ever seen Morgan Freeman in. I think Driving Miss Daisy may have came out earlier, but I've never seen it.
What about The Electric Factory?
Oh, yes. I vaguely remember watching his hair, and it was unimpressive.
So
that was the Electric Factory episode we watched.
Yeah, where Morgan Freeman uses the prefix "un."
Go on.
No, that's it. That was the whole bit.
That was the entire episode of Electric Factory.
So, I think this was a case, in film where Kevin Costner was a little bit over his head in terms of his acting prowess, and it didn't help. In fact, it was almost kind of mean to put him up against Alan Rickman as Sheriff of Nottingham.
Like, Rickman gives probably one of the best performances in this movie.
It might be my favorite Alan Rickman performance. I don't get me wrong. I think he's phenomenal as Hans Gruber, and even he's pretty damn good in Galaxy Quest 2. Not Galaxy Quest 2, but Galaxy Quest as well.
Let's not forget Severus Snape.
That's not my. That's before my or after my time.
The funny thing is, somebody on a friend of mine on Facebook once asked, they're like, I want to prove a point. What do you know Alan Rickman from the most? And basically Hans Gruber won, and they were very upset by that because they insisted. They're like, no, it's Snape. There's 7 movies of this guy as Snape, 8 movies of this guy as Snape. How can you not pick Snape?
Well,
Hans Gruber's better.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine as Snape, especially when you take all the context of the character and his past with Harry Potter and his parents and all that shit. I'm sure it's a phenomenal performance, but you're really pressing your luck if you think it comes close to Hans Gruber or Sheriff of Nottingham.
That was actually his first role as Hans Gruber. His first.
That was his breakout performance?
Yep.
Oh, no shit. He knocked it out of the park as far as I'm concerned.
This movie, going back to Robin Hood, this movie is definitely a 90s movie. There's just no doubt about that.
I can tell you the one shot in this movie, and I think you know which shot it is, that is probably the most 90s shot I've ever seen.
90s.
Yeah, which is Kevin Costner shooting the bow and arrow with the fire behind him in slow motion. And I think there was even a cougar sound, wasn't there?
You know something?
What's that?
That's because that shot is fucking awesome.
Say it again. You dropped out.
I said that shot is awesome. Can you still hear me?
I hear you.
That is, to me, the coolest shot. That's the movie I grew up with. I'm not gonna say the most, but definitely one of the movies I watched a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
So my ideas of what's cool in movies, especially action movies, is all centered around Robin Hood, and that shot to me is just to me it's the shotgasm. Oh, you can't get any cooler than that.
Don't get me wrong. It's nowadays it would be considered a very cheesy shot, but it's something that only the 90s could have gotten away with.
If this happened nowadays, people would be like, I say, what a little gilding the lily, I'm afraid.
What a hammy performance. He's really chewing the scenery, except for Robin Hood, who's just chewing nothing.
Wait a minute, are you telling me that the Sheriff of Nottingham is a bad guy? A villain? Our bad guys can't be villains anymore. They have to be misunderstood souls.
Wait a minute. It's the 90s. The Germans have to be the bad guys now, not the English.
So, despite all the corniness of this movie, I like to think that this movie has, in its time, probably set the standard for action for a little while, because it gives us everything that we come to know and love in, I guess, 90s action movies, because you have an over-the-top villain, you have a lot of just interesting action, we'll say, set pieces. There's a lot of swashbuckling going on, which I like in my movies in general.
I think which movie was it? I think it was another Kevin Costner movie, Waterworld, where you discovered you like your swashbuckling.
Yep, there was a lot of swashbuckling in Waterworld, and then there was swashbuckling in Zorro also. So
yep, you like your buckles and swashes.
I only if they're swashed. Yeah. So the funny thing about this is, like, even though this movie is definitely corny and hammy and over the top, it is a very likable movie, very well paced, and honestly, it might be my favorite interpretation of Robin Hood. And I'm including the Errol Flynn one. I'm including the Disney one. Those are good movies. This is just my favorite version of them.
What about the one that came with what the hell is his name? Russell Crowe? Wasn't he a Robin Hood in yeah, I didn't see Ridley Scott's Robin Hood, which I hear was panned? Yeah, I hear it's pretty bad, but I didn't see it. But I might as well. I've seen a lot of other Robin Hoods. Like I said, I really like the 1930s Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn as Robin Hood. It's actually a really good movie. But yeah. I do like. Go on.
No, go ahead.
I do like this interpretation of Robin Hood as well, mainly because I've seen so many incarnations of Robin Hood where they have the contest and he splits the arrow and all that jazz, and I'm kind of glad that they decided to go their own way with it and not include that. Like they have the thing, they have him splitting an arrow, but it's not a contest. It's just kind of him showing off, you know, in the woods. Though there's one thing that those other Robin Hoods I guarantee don't have, like the cartoon version and the Errol Flynn version and the Ridley Kevin Scott Costner's version. Ass? Well, I don't know. I can't say for sure. I think the cartoon might have that, but like in a window as they're passing by. It's like the rescuers down where we have to like pause it. But they definitely don't have a shot of Robin Hood shooting a flaming arrow while an explosion's going off behind him. You don't know that. That could have been in the Russell Crowe one. It might be in a Russell Crowe one. Yeah, maybe. But now here's in the era with like no. Now here's a question. Usually sometimes we go like, how would we do it, or how would it be done today? And I'm less interested in how it would be done today, and I kind of already think that we wouldn't change the 90s one at all. We think it's perfect as it is. But here is the question I propose. This movie... Yeah, I propose, how would this movie be done in the 80s? Because I know it was 91, and it was not that far away from the glamour era of the 80s, but how would they do it? Well, Robin Hood would not be played by Kevin Costner. No. I don't think he was really that big in the 80s. No, Field of Dreams, and I think Bull Durham were the 80s. I stand corrected. Those are baseball movies, you know. Yeah. But Robin will be played by Eddie Murphy. All right. And I guess it would take place in Brooklyn. Yeah. I laugh, but yep. Yeah, it would take place in Brooklyn. And he's a cop, but he's basically Axel Foley, who's been taken off the force. By the I guess the commissioner of Nottingham, or yes, exactly. And he's, you know, this is far beyond him trying to clear his name and rejoin. Like, he is off the grid completely, and he's got to live in the woods with all these other crazy people that the sheriff is displacing. He lives in Central Park. He lives in Central Park with I guess a bunch of homeless bandits who charge, I guess, and they charge a tax if you want to go from one side of Central Park to the other. And he starts leading this this band of people who've lost their homes because of the sheriff. These people have been evicted, like unfairly, and like the sheriff is working under like some kind of corrupt real estate tycoon who's getting these people evicted, so the real estate guy can kind of swoop in and buy the land on the cheap. And I imagine that they still build bows and arrows and stuff like that. Or do you think that Eddie Murphy Robin Hood is just like a crack shot with a pistol? It would be a badass scene if he split a bullet with another bullet. See, I'm actually thinking of a way to like the
the bad guy. We'll determine who plays the bad guy in a second, but I'm still thinking Alan Rickman.
Yeah, Alan Rickman would still be a good choice, but then again, we know his American accent was horrible in Die Hard. But maybe, you know what? If Kevin Costner can't do an English accent for Robin Hood, then we can allow Alan Rickman not to do an American accent for this one.
So anyway, that'd be fine. Like, he's just a bad guy from England or somewhere else. But so the bad guy gets shot at the end, and he thinks he's won. He takes off his shirt and he's got a bulletproof vest. He's like,
never leave home
too bad,
it
didn't work. And so Robin shoots again. He shoots the bullet through the vest into his heart.
And ooh, that would be badass.
And there's an explosion going off while he does it.
Like, I guess Alan Rickman's character is rigging explosive in all these abandoned homes in order for the real estate tycoon to buy them up after they're put out. So just as Robin Hood shoots the bullet, the explosion goes off.
The idea of him shooting a bullet through a bulletproof vest to kill the bad guy is actually really... it's in the theme of the Robin Hood.
Yeah.
And it's also really stupid because you just shoot him in the head.
Well, yeah, but Robin Hood would do it anyway because it's symbolic. Like, yeah, if you shoot someone, if a bullet hits a bulletproof vest, that spot in the vest is useless now. So yeah, it kind of would work. So
yeah, it would be, and like him killing the crooked sheriff, especially, kind of exposes the well, okay, so Alan Rickman's got to be the sheriff.
Yeah.
Working for the cruel real estate guy will just be somebody else. He'll be
let's see, who plays. I want it to be the CEO of OCP in Robocop.
Oh, so the old man?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Or do you have a better pick? Peter Graves?
I'm trying to think of someone who... What was that?
Peter Graves?
I want somebody who's actually kind of fat. Like a fat cat.
Alright, so who played Robin Hood's father in
oh, Brian Blessed.
Yeah, Brian Blessed.
Okay, I can get behind that. That makes sense, because he's got like a powerful, commanding presence.
He does.
And everything.
Or
and then at the end, the King of New York,
the King of New York.
Yeah, he officially recognizes that Robin is now a free man.
But now he has to deal with the Warriors. I guess that would be this 1970s Robin Hood, though barely. I think that was 79.
Could the Merry Men stand up against any of the other gangs from the Warriors?
Oh man, or would the Merry Men be the Warriors? In this universe, I imagine the Warriors are the Merry Men, because in this universe, that one guy who says who killed the one, the guy who went to the I forget the name of the big group hunting the Warriors, or put the bounty on them, but the person who informed them that it wasn't the Warriors who assassinated the guy uniting all the gangs. Never stepped forward or never saw what he saw, and years later the Warriors are still in hiding in Central Park.
So they're the Merry Men.
They're the Merry Men.
Yeah, that'd be a good crossover, actually. And if we're crossing all these universes, then yeah, I do want it to be Axel Foley who has the this is now Robin Hood and Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Yeah, like he was transferred to New York because some political reason, and it's Axel Foley, the Warriors, and who else? Who else can we cross over?
Well, let's see.
Maybe it's actually Hans Gruber before he got corrupted.
Nah, because he's gonna die. So
okay, that makes sense.
I want the Brian Blessed character to be played by somebody really random. Like, I want it to be Archie Bunker now, who's
Look, I'm trying to buy these houses.
Like, would you scram, you meat face?
What do you have to do to get these scumbags out of here?
But sir, come on. Yes, let's get them out of here indeed.
I will do the dirty work for you.
Archie Bunker's fine, but now I kind of want to add something even more fantastic to the mix.
Okay.
Archie Bunker's okay, but I want it to be like Duke Harkonnen.
Say again?
Or Baron Harkonnen.
Oh, just this flamboyant, over-the-top evil man?
No, I just want him to be the actual Baron Harkonnen.
Oh, you actually want the Baron to be this floating fat man to be the man in charge?
Yeah, he's a real estate guy. This is before this is like ancient Harkonnens, like back in the day. This is how the Harkonnens get their start.
So this is kind of the beginning of the Harkonnen line.
Yeah, this is an origin story for the Harkonnens.
Is there still a Sting? Is Sting still
yes,
part of it?
But he's not. He's not the nephew or anything like that. In fact, I want him to be the Friar.
He's Friar Tuck?
Yep.
So he's Now, what is the story of Friar Tuck? He just was one of the bad guys, friars, and just joined the Merry Men?
I don't know if it's accurate in the Prince of Thieves version.
Probably not.
But I do know that he was just like a religious leader and a singer. I think he used to sing like on a lute or something.
Oh, okay.
So that makes sense because I want Sting to be a minister who got lost in the woods.
Okay.
And I want him to also provide spiritual guidance and singing to the group. But his singing is, of course, Sting's music.
Or I kind of want him to get out of his comfort zone with his singing. I want him to be part of like a barbershop quartet.
Roxanne, Roxanne, Roxanne,
Roxanne.
Like this is. Imagine we bring this to the executives in the '80s. Like, guys, this is terrible.
Like, I know we're the '80s and we're over the top, but this is a little bit too '80s and over the top.
Like, geez, guys, can you? I can't believe I'm actually saying this. In the '80s, because that's where we live right now. But could you just tone it back a little bit? Just stretch it back. Come on.
Like the actual Baron Harkonnen? Like you're including him? Like that doesn't even make sense.
You're including an origin story to Dune in the middle of your Robin Hood story, which is also a Warriors sequel and also a sequel to Beverly Hills Cop. I want to make sure I'm understanding this.
You have it. You hit it on the nose, though. Since
listen, the only thing I don't want is Sting. Okay.
Though the one since in the '80s version of Dune, at least he's supposed to be in these flying suit. I want him to be suspended by like one of the like a fat man version of one of those elastic baby like the baby bouncing things.
The baby jump things.
Yeah, like it's just pretty much like a big pair of suspenders that are attached to like the ceiling, and he bounces around on them.
That's funnier than what I was thinking.
What's that?
I was gonna go with remember the episode of Fringe with the dead girl that the guy brought back?
Oh, the marionette.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was imagining.
That works, but it's a lot creepier.
It's kind of interesting if at the end it turns out that like this isn't just his way of staying suspended. Like there is actually somebody controlling the marionette.
Like the Baron's dead and he's literally a puppet.
Yeah, and nobody knows this until the very end when Robin Hood exposes it. It turns out that it's like, I don't know, like Oz the Great and Powerful behind the curtain controlling it.
Well, now we have to have another crossover somehow.
Yeah, well, let's do it.
All right, so who would be? Okay, 1980s. I'm wondering who would be the puppet master, and I'll go just throw this out here.
Everything.
Gunnery Sergeant Hartman.
Looking good for a man who got shot by Private Pyle.
Yeah, he recovered.
Yeah, the wound wasn't fatal.
Yeah. Like, where was he shot? The chest? Yeah, he's fine. He's at a base. They have military, they have medical personnel.
There's a fire watch, so someone's gonna call immediately. Like, Joker was right there.
Yeah. Like he survived. Like you know, he probably didn't come back for their graduation because he was probably still recovering. But I think he made it.
Okay, we can put a pin in that. I want to see if we can find some other really weird puppet masks, because I want to expand this series, but in a way that's weird.
All right.
In a way that's this hasn't been weird enough.
All right.
You know,
the Vincent Price rat from that Don Bluth cartoon.
That was actually Disney.
What was that?
The Great Mouse Detective. He might have been animating it though.
Oh, it definitely did look Don Bluthian.
Yeah, I think he worked for Disney before he left.
He did.
But I have that's a good one, because that has that crosses over a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say, and this is a weird one. I want it to be Tangina from Poltergeist.
Well, okay. All right. I'm on board. I just want to see where this goes.
I do too. So the question is, go ahead.
Does she do that weird chant about the children crossing over?
Yes. See, she is keeping. Okay, I think I have the story.
All right.
I think I got it.
All right.
She is doing all she can to keep the spirit animated, to keep her husband's soul inside until she finds a way to.
Her husband's the Baron? Yes.
And even though he's dead, she wants to keep this. She's got to keep up appearances like Weekend at Bernie's. You know what? No, it's the two guys from Weekend at Bernie's. They're controlling the Harkonnen.
And you might as well make Bernie the Baron. Just put him in a fat suit.
Yeah. This would actually... Bernie Lomax Harkonnen is... because now it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Like, they are so far over their heads.
Oh my god, now the government's involved? And street gangs? Like, they are... Like, the one wormy guy is like, we have to tell someone. We got... Like, this is getting gangs and the government involved.
Richard, we are the highest we've ever been. If we tell somebody, the show's over. We have to keep going.
Meanwhile, they're living the high life, and have to keep doughy Bernie Lomax, which I don't think Bernie Lomax is fat. I think he's just bloated by then.
Yeah. This is a real, this is, down the line, the Harkonnens are like, man, we have a really fucked up history.
But apparently they're fairly, say what you want about the guys pulling the strings on Bernie, they're apparently very good real estate moguls.
Well, I think what's happening is the guy was a real estate mogul, so they just kept on, or at least in this version, Bernie somehow finds his way into real estate business.
Yeah.
And they can't admit to anybody what's going on, so they have to keep on going and making decisions based on what they think would happen. And of course it's leading to corruption and bad stuff at the bottom, but they are in so deep they cannot stop whatsoever.
I imagine it's like the sheriff was in on it beforehand, like back in the planning stages, and then Bernie Lomax died. And then they start, in order to just get rid of the sheriff, they're like, all right, what would you like me to do? I don't know, burn the houses down. Fine. And they have more and more outlandish plans in order to get the sheriff to cave in and leave, but he just keeps on doing it.
He is super corrupt.
Yeah.
I think it's even funnier, if every time Robin Hood, because he's still in this story apparently. Yeah. Robin Hood has many meetings with this overlord Bernie Lomax, and he thinks that he kills him. He's like, you know what, time's up, and he shoots him and he leaves. And then because he's already Bernie's already dead.
Yeah.
Next time Robin sees him, he's like, no, I killed him. I killed him.
I do imagine, after Robin Hood leaves, it's like the two guys come out from behind the car. Bernie. We're gonna have to get the spackle and spackle the holes shut again.
They staple his skin together.
Oh man, the air's getting out. Oh, he's getting ripe.
No. I imagine I imagine that, like, this actually makes, in Robin Hood's mind, this makes this villain the most threatening thing he's ever come across. A man who just refuses to die.
And he has to unite the gangs now. He's the one who does it.
And, and, like, they fight back, they get their, you know, they get their homes back and everything, and somehow like when it all is said and done, like the cops are leading the bloated corpse of Bernie out of there. The other guys, they got away with it. They're fine.
Yeah.
They got out just in time. No one ever found out. Just when Axel Foley thinks everything's safe and everything is over, he's marrying the Maiden Marian or whatever it is. Then here comes Bernie rolling down, like bumping down the aisle and everything. Somehow, like by an accident, by mishandling the corpse, he just comes boom, 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 and ends up the best man at the wedding.
Where Governor Sean Connery comes and officiates the wedding.
Like, oh, and I see we have the exalted Bernie Lomax here. What are you talking about? Bernie's not here. Oh!
And then he just deflates.
And then
Bernie.
And then it just cuts to black with the end written in cursive font, like you know, really fancy wedding font.
I thought it was gonna be like a it kind of writes itself out, but it's kind of like a cartoonish, like almost overture.
Like I want it to be the end question mark.
Yeah. Like what I had something different planned for Bernie. Like I had Axel on the roof, and the two guys and Bernie are at kind of like a at the edge of the building, and like they have Bernie holding two guns on him while they're holding him up on the ledge, and like Axel thinks it's a hostage situation, and it just culminates in the two guys throwing Bernie off the roof, and Axel and everyone else thinking the Baron committed suicide.
Like they look down because he's been like festering for a while. When he hits the pavement, it's just a
you remember in like Ghostbusters when they dropped the marshmallow on the guy?
Yeah, it would be that, except there's rotten meat. Just, oh, there goes Bernie! There goes Bernie, all right.
It's either that or he's so full of gases that he just slowly floats down.
I was actually thinking that he might, like, they think it's over. You know, he falls off the roof, but he just bounces back up and lands.
It's like a Three Stooges sketch. Like he lands in some kind of reclining sunbathing chair at a poolside.
I imagine he bounces back, lands back on the roof, and lands on top of Axel.
And what does Axel do? Does he smother Axel?
Yeah, our Robin Hood loses in this one.
Everyone does. Like the only people, I imagine all the gangs are arrested. The only people who really come out on top are the Weekend at Bernie's guys. But they have to find a new job.
They have to move somewhere else, like completely.
Yeah, I imagine this.
Doesn't matter.
What's that?
Go on.
I imagine this comes in between Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2 before they figure out that curse that'll make them dance to music.
Actually, I was thinking this takes place like this is Weekend at Bernie's 3.
Oh, okay.
And at the end, there's an implication. Although this is the 80s, I guess, so I have to be between 1 and 2. But there's an implication at the end that they moved to like Kansas just to get away from all this bullshit. And somehow, like when they're flying the corpse of Bernie somewhere, he rolls out the back of the airplane and lands wherever they are.
Yeah. You know what? I think there needs to be a Weekend at Bernie's 4, or a real Weekend at Bernie's 3 rather. And yeah,
get down with it. Although Bernie's dead.
Oh yeah, and I think it would be funnier. It's like Bernie Lomax is clearly heavily decomposed, but people like you put a pair of shades on him, and people are still fooled.
I was thinking like it's just a skeleton they're walking around with. They put the sunglasses on, like maybe a Hawaiian shirt. Like, Bernie, you're looking good.
That or
I can't believe this is working, Richard.
That or being buried in the sand for a couple decades, really mummified him.
Well, I mean, I just say it because the actor's dead.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't know that. That's a shame.
I think the actor who played Bernie. Yeah, I know. I think he's dead, so there can't be any. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just fairly sure.
Well, all corpses look the same in the end.
Yeah, one corpse just goes next.
So yeah, I would be on board, and if I do think this version of Robin Hood would be out of this world. It's a sequel to so many movies. It's Beverly Hills Cop 4. It's Weekend at Bernie's 3. It's The Warriors 2.
It's Dune the prequel.
Yeah. It's so much and so much more.
You thought that the Avengers was like the biggest team up of like franchises. Avengers doesn't even have Weekend at Bernie's references.
Man, they're missing out.
Imagine what they could do with a dead Thanos, or when they when he breaks Loki's neck, like Thor just kind of pretended he was still alive. That's actually sad. Jeez, you're not dead, Loki.
I don't know why, but I imagine him playing Mjolnir like a flute in order to get what's his name to dance, Loki.
Yeah, okay, I'd be down with that.
Yeah, playing it like a flute, like the Green Ranger plays his blade.
I was just gonna say that, like the theme still has to be the same.
Yeah. But you're gonna have to extend it somehow.
I know, I got it. It's I don't know why. I guess if we're mixing these universes, it's Axel's theme. The I was say what you want. Nobody can resist dancing to that.
No, I was gonna say some kind of a smooth Kenny G song.
Okay.
That's it. That's a joke.
I was gonna go bum 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 bum.
With the Robocop theme.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
we would ruin Marvel. That's why we're not allowed to do this.
Yeah, like we would have a lot of a lot of insane references, and like we would have Peter Weller as, who would we have Peter Weller as in the Marvel universe?
Now, do we get to make up like or do we do a hero that hasn't, or a villain that hasn't been taken, or are we just going to do a swap, replace one actor with Peter Weller?
Well, let's start with that and then go with the other, do the other one as well.
Okay, so the swap, that might take a little bit of thinking. Let's think. I'm gonna say
he's the Hulk.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that I want to see him as he's got to be somebody a little bit older, because it's Peter Weller now.
Yeah.
It's Peter Weller circa like 2015, 2017.
Yeah. I don't think there's not a lot of older heroes. I could see him maybe as Nick Fury, but I think Samuel L. Jackson's doing a pretty good job.
Like, the only thing I can think of is maybe he can be like Iron Man's father, like
oh yeah,
Howard Stark. Like, he's not in a lot, but he's in there every now and again.
He could be what's his name? Prim, the Ant-Man's like Ant-Man's the guy he gets the Ant-Man suit from.
And Hank Pym.
Yeah, Hank Pym.
I don't know, Michael Douglas is pretty good.
Yeah, he was. And I like to think Michael Douglas in Ant-Man is the same Michael Douglas in that Rochambeau movie.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see. It's easy. Peter Weller's Vision.
Oh, he'd be a good Vision.
Not only is he Vision, but his costume is just the Robocop suit. Like, he'll be regular Peter Weller, normal. When Vision is just kind of walking around human, he can be normal Peter Weller there. But when he goes into his his Vision suit. It's just the RoboCop outfit with the Mind Stone on his head.
Stay out of trouble.
He could be Iron Man. That'll be his thing. Like, I am inevitable. Stay out of trouble.
And then he does, like, when he's all burnt up and clinging to life at the end, he's just doing that weird dance he does when he's on the chair having a bad dream.
I actually think more RoboCop 2, like, you know, he snaps and then he's in a bunch of pieces like he was in RoboCop 2. Like he's a crash test dummy.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like just like the crash test dummies.
Like, they can put him back together, he'll be fine.
I guess it would make Spider-Man's goodbye scenes that much less emotional if they're just gonna put Iron Man back together again. He's like the Scarecrow.
You know, it would be a ridiculous ending to like this movie that everyone was just hotly anticipating. If, like, oh my gosh, this is what a great way to end this journey. He snaps and he's just in a bunch of pieces. Like, oh, all right, we can put it back together. It's fine. Like, it would kind of ruin the end.
I imagine they're all at the funeral with Tony Stark's heart, and he's just like, he just kind of walks up at the end. He's in the group of people. He has a metal bow tie.
He was a good fighter. But no, that's you.
I hear he was very efficient.
Bring the heart back. He's fine.
Someone's pulling it in.
Like, I imagine they have like a little fly fishing pole that they keep on trying to like hook it so they can reel it back.
Like yeah. It's not far enough away, but they're doing that thing where they put like an oar in the water and try to bring the current back towards them.
It just kind of makes it float even further, so they just send somebody in after it. Spider-Man, do you mind?
I didn't bring the goop. I didn't bring the spider goop because I thought this was a funeral. And
then then Iron Man's girlfriend's like, goop. Thank you. Oh, that was a long couple of seconds for me.
Goop, you say?
What does this mean? Oh, I know.
What does goop? Doesn't goop stand for something?
I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like some sort of nickname for her, for like the Gwyneth Paltrow.
Like I know the G and the P stand for Gwyneth Paltrow, but I don't know what the O's stand for.
Her middle name is Oob. Her middle name is Oob. Oob. I'd be upset if my parents gave me that as a middle name.
Mark.
Don't. You don't want. We don't want that.
I didn't say it.
We almost had to.
I almost.
I know. We almost had to resort to something clever.
Yep. Oop. It sounds like. It almost sounds like a caveman name, but like a caveman name for the for like the apes in 2001. Like, I had the bone and saw the monolith.
Like, it sounds like a side character in the Land of the Lost show from the 90s.
Oop, you get your smelly ass back here.
Oop, tired.
Oop.
Did you make a mess? Did you make a mess?
Oop, didn't make a mess. Oop, no make a mess.
Oop.
And is Stink jealous?
Yeah, it's funny because I'm like, you know, they have a character named Stink, so I can't imagine that that this name would be ridiculous to them.
Yeah. You have to think, like, you know, Stink did speak English after a while. So do you think you think he would he eventually kind of like, oh man, what are you calling me Stink for? I have no control over that.
Like, I think it'd be a lot better if they introduced that he had like more family members.
Stink, like, Stank, and Stunk.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going for. And Oop is like the cousin Oliver. Like we bring Oop in the last season to, you know, and he's a radical caveman, wears sunglasses and a skateboard.
Man, he's rad.
Oh, look, here comes Oop. Oh, Oop. Look out, Oop. Oh, Oop's so cool.
Stinkate Oop.
That is so ridiculous, but at the same time, it's like, I can't be 100% sure that never happened in the 90s, that there was a caveman with sunglasses and a skateboard.
It is definitely within the wheelhouse of what the 90s could provide.
Like, because that was what was cool. There was a lot of characters that did the skateboard and the sunglasses thing, but there was also a lot of cavemen in the 90s for some reason. Like, a lot of cartoons had cavemen in it. DuckTales had a caveman in it.
Did it have a caveman?
Yeah, Bubba.
Huh. Now I gotta think of more caveman. I guess, yeah, you had Encino Man.
Well, yeah,
that was 90s, right? Or was that late 80s?
Yep, that was 90s.
I think Brendan Fraser's first movie.
I forget what show it was. It was like I think it was like the Mario Brothers show or something like that. There was a caveman named like Uktar.
Yeah, and then there was a lot of those kind of those spaghetti fantasy movies that were made in like Italy that had like cavemen in them back in the 80s. Yeah, like the 80s and 90s. It was the time of the cavemen. Again, Land of the Lost had kind of cavemen in it. It had 8 people. Do you think in the Land of the Lost universe, like, food might have started getting scarce and they might have thought about eating stink?
That one had tons of delicious dinosaurs running around.
Yeah, I guess they would have gotten Natasha first, because all that thing did was scream.
Just one good hit, and we're eating for weeks, kids.
Yeah. Do you really want to have this screaming monster in your home all the time?
I don't like the monster. I don't know why we keep it around. I thought you wanted him around.
No, I hate this thing. It smells worse than stink.
What about your sister? Doesn't your sister like the monster? I hate that thing. Why are we living with a monster then?
Who brought this thing home?
I thought you did.
Ha! Stink's wife.
I imagine that when they do it, it's very cartoonish. Like they have a giant pot with water. They start, cutting carrots up.
I thought they were just gonna have it on a spit. Is that too much?
That is the opposite of cartoon.
I guess. I don't know. They had things on a spit in cartoons.
There's an apple in her mouth.
Yeah.
Dark.
What's that?
That's dark.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I would feel that bad. Like that, I hated that thing in the show. And
the thing is, I remember.
What's that?
Go ahead.
No, nothing.
I remember watching the show a lot when I was a kid.
Same here.
The Land of the Lost. But I remember, I don't know why. I think it was just I had it on because it had a rockin' theme song. But like 5 minutes in, I was already bored. With what was going on, so I'd start doing homework or something.
Like like the show peaked at the end of the at the end of the theme song.
Yeah, that was basically like once the theme song was over, the rest of the show was just all right. It's not as exciting as the theme song promised it would be.
No. I know it had some pretty decent special effects for the 90s. You had you had the T-Rex named Scarface, and I remember there was like this futuristic giant alien thing as well. And like some of the special effects were good, but I think those were rare.
Like I think that I remember because I think we watched an episode in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I vaguely remember it being fine. Just it was fine. It was definitely not. It didn't look like it was cheap. It looked like there was some effort put into it. But the problem as a kid was, to me, it was just not fun. It was not interesting.
No.
It was boring. It was a show that shouldn't be boring. There's dinosaurs in it and cave people
and a hot girl.
And some really hot girl.
Yeah.
Wearing like a burlap sack. Like, this shouldn't be boring. They lived in a treehouse. This should be awesome.
Yeah. And now I think about it, I think the hot cave girl and Stink were a thing. Like, I don't think I think
they were the same character.
Like I think those two were kind of a I don't want to say a couple, but they were found together.
It's like it was a whole scandal.
Stink will not lay with Stink.
He I imagine that, like the newspapers they have, which I imagine are just stone tablets that
Yeah, like from the Flintstones.
Yeah, like has a picture of them two together.
Are
Like
they
the paparazzi?
like you know they're tangled up in sheets and looking at the camera in surprise?
One Stink's got his hand in front of his face.
No, Stink have family.
Now I imagine that it's actually I don't know any other character. It was the little dinosaur that took the picture and starts blackmailing him.
Well, I imagine
And that's
the next scene is like Stink says, "No, I have a family," and then it cuts to like the stone tablet shattering on the floor and just another Stink with a pink apron on, with a look of just horror and sadness.
I imagine that the Stink family with the kids running around. It's like the beginning of the Star Wars holiday special where they're all talking and there's no subtitles. I imagine it goes to a divorce court type thing, but like with rocks and
With what?
and like a dinosaur judge, like a divorce court type thing with and Stink ends up losing like half of his shells.
Is the dinosaur wearing a powdered wig?
Yes. And a robe.
Of course. And yeah.
Again, that's why we're not allowed to write things.
No, we would make
Because
we'd make it a laughing stock.
like we can't not do shtick.
And on that note, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Good movie. It's actually a good recommendation to me, if for nothing else than that slow motion shot of him shooting a flaming arrow. But it's silly and ridiculous. But I mean, it's really a likable, well-paced, and exciting action adventure movie.
I think it's it's a product of its decade, but that being said, it does have its own charm, and it does have some very good performances. So I still think it's cheesy, but it's definitely worth the watch. So take it easy.
Toodaloo. That'll hold a little SOBs.